Okay, so hard to believe. Time goes fast when you're locked at home. Welcome to our fifth session. So the key components of social and emotional learning: self-management, managing emotions and behaviors to achieve your goals; self-awareness, responsible decision-making; relationship skills, and social awareness. And if you and your teachers and your students are going to advance in their social and emotional learning and coping skills, they need to build all of these, and your program needs to work on all of these. It's the student triangle of support, and this will reflect some of the things we've talked about before. So students, teachers, parents, you're dealing with multiple groups. You have to communicate with them to get information, to get facts, to communicate information to them, to all of these groups, and to allow this feedback loop to go on. And students should be, and you see support connects to students from both legs of the triangle. And I just want to reiterate this point, is that done well, the entire experience that we're going to can lead to some positive outcomes for students. They can build their resilience. They can learn to be more structured on their own. They can learn more about empathy, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a guest, and we're going to turn it over to her in a second. I'm going to introduce her. This is Lisa Radcliffe, who's the founder and CEO but she's an expert on these issues of what do these children need during this time? How are they coping?
That golden triangle that you spoke about, I think, is a piece that's being missed by school. I think the one other thing that I would say, so I've touched on a little bit with the communication, consistency, multiple modalities. The one thing I'm also seeing in our community is a lack of social interaction. So I think you can't underestimate the places that social interaction right now is missing for people and what it's doing to them. So children, teachers, parents, I think if schools can find a way to support and sponsor and structure social interaction for children. So maybe it's an asynchronous learning project that they do together with kids that they might not otherwise work with. These are things that you were doing in classrooms before that I'm not seeing yet in the learning that I've seen delivered. Now, granted, the school year here hasn't started yet, but it's something I would recommend based on what I saw last. That teachers.
How can we do that?
How can you help parents? Oh, I would
Yeah, I mean,
love to.
how can we make them feel competent? I mean, I wouldn't know where to start to other than just tell them, hey, you can do this. You know what I mean?
No, think about the support that you're giving to teachers right now. Teachers are having to learn how to teach online. Parents are having to learn how to manage children during a day when they never have before. That's my opinion.
All right. No, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, it
So
does help.
I think your teachers too. What we've been talking to a lot of teachers, and teachers are feeling, and occupational therapists. So we deal very regularly with occupational therapists, and we have several on staff. They're feeling disconnected. So that whole peer review process where they're walking down the hall and they say, hey, you know what? I'm having this problem with Jimmy. And I was wondering if you have him in this class, what do you do with him? So I was just speaking to a special ed teacher in Philadelphia who talked about the fact that the way she rewards her students for 100% participation in online polls is she dresses her dog up in funny hats. So she has second graders. And so if she gets 100% participation, the dog dresses up in a hat. I mean, teachers who are thinking outside the box like that are always gold, but right now they're even more.
Oh, Dr. Peterson, welcome.
Thank you.
Stop sharing my
Thanks. And I wanted to say, Ed, you had some great information there. And so I did learn from you today. So technically you are. Good afternoon. Thank you for welcoming me back as well. But Lisa had some great things. And if I can just compliment some of the ideas that she started with, I would say to maybe even like a parent's empowering the parents the teachers and the students. And I know this gets scary, but I don't know if there's anything wrong with having parents and students. If now a lot of us are going to be starting out remotely, as opposed to finishing remotely, and it's not necessarily emergency now. We're kind of planned for it. I think SEL has to come almost like it's its own course of sorts, or at least it has to be embedded in the curriculum, like we do with the Amistad Commission here in New Jersey, where we have it embedded. Where I would say we were perhaps maybe at the height of understanding and implementing SEL throughout the country. At the same time, it was taken away from us as far as the face-to-face interactions. And it's the convergence of that is very interesting to me, because it's almost as if we taught kids how to express, or the need or the importance of feelings and emotions and all that. At the same time, it was taken away.
There are a number of questions in different categories, ranging from curriculum to technology. So very good way to get to the information that you've been learning. And I did find several interesting questions, just a couple to mention. How do you set up your rooms and lighting so that you can have an effective online class? So lots of good stuff in there. I would just quickly remind you to encourage you to go back, use that tool. You can search it, obviously, and find answers to some of these important questions. And you can also ask